Okay, welcome everybody to Unclean Hands Explained. This is our Patreon channel that eventually will go on YouTube. And we're just going to explain, each episode to you and have fun doing it. I hope you like it.
Well, here we are, chapter 10, almost all the way through. And the saying is all will be revealed. Well, it seems like we at least got part of everything being revealed here. And right away, we pick up where the last episode left off with the police officer calling
Mark Williams.
Yes, to talk to him about the death of the Reverend. And he is losing his shit about this because he knows that this is a huge problem. He was a huge part of their operation. And so he is giving this officer a piece of the what for. But Thomas is hearing some of this, and he's just starting to connect the dots a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Dixon, they're starting to figure out the truth.
Mm-hmm.
That he had to see it for himself. I think he kind of knew.
Yeah.
From the first couple of chapters to now, but just to see it himself.
Yeah.
That his grandfather is going nuts about the Reverend dying and arguing about bells. So he kind of put two and two together, which had to come out eventually.
Yes.
And talking to Officer Kelly too, which he hates.
Mm-hmm.
But he's starting to realize, okay, my family is behind this.
Yeah. And then, of course, at the funeral, a little while later, he sees some stuff that really slams home that his family is involved. So tell us a little bit more about what he witnesses.
You say when you go to the funeral home or the cemetery?
At the cemetery.
At the cemetery, you actually see his grandfather, actually on the phone yelling at someone about the Reverend's death.
Yeah.
And knowing that Bells did it, and he knows his grandfather and his grandfather actually introduced him to both of the guys.
Yeah.
So he knows something's going wrong. And then he's also seeing some particular stuff with the cemetery burial itself.
Yes, that's the thing that really puts the nail in the coffin, so to speak. Mm-hmm. No pun intended.
Yeah, because he's like, okay, why is this officer here? And then he sees Loco Blue shows up to a basically all blood funeral.
Yeah.
And that kind of freaks him out too. But he's so pissed off that his grandfather has been hiding stuff. He kind of put two and two together. He's racing to the funeral home to confront him. Mm-hmm. And his mother happened to be there at the same time.
Yeah. Well, let me jump back for a minute and talk about that funeral scene where everyone is decked out in red and they're strapped, and there was a lot of detail there. Like you set the atmosphere once again for that, and it really felt like a situation that could go wrong at any moment.
Yeah, I mean, I personally know of gang members who are blood, and you go to their funerals, you better wear red. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You don't wear anything blue. So I wanted to make sure that was shown, you know, to show that how the solidarity and how the gang is like one family.
Yes.
So Loco Blue sticking out, even though he's trying to hide, that blue sticks out a mile away.
Right.
So just want to let you know, that's basically how I want to set the environment of the scene up, give you a more detailed look at how one of those would go.
And then, of course, in the cemetery, we get that great scene with, well, first of all, we hear Officer Kelly's thoughts as he's driving in the funeral procession on his police motorcycle, and he is a horrific racist. And we really get this feeling that he is profiting off of all of this, and he doesn't care. In fact, he's all right with everything that's happening. And he has you wrote a great line in there, which is that they're killing each other at such a rate that in 30 years, you're going to have to go to an exhibit to see, I assume he's saying to see any people of color or black people in particular, because they're just killing each other off so quickly. And he's really happy about this.
Yeah. I mean, again, I know some cops that really felt like that back in the day. Yeah. So, unfortunately, I was a part of some things that, I had to hear that.
Right.
But, I was determined not to make that come true. But yeah, I mean, I got to let you understand that Officer Kelly is only learning from Mark Williams.
Right.
Mark Williams taught him all this stuff.
Yeah.
So, he just got somebody, like he's going to say in future things, that he wanted someone that was of a lower class, white of him, and let him feel okay, even though you might be what they call a redneck or whatever, don't have no money, but still you're better than a nigga.
Right.
So let him know, even though you ain't shit to me, you're better than them.
Right.
And you can feed on that because, again, somebody just want to belong to something.
Yeah.
And that's what he used upon.
Yeah, that is actually a technique of the colonizer,
which is divide and conquer.
Exactly. You always have that buffer. You always tell people that the powerful people will let a poor group think, well, you're better than this other poor group, to keep them from uniting to fight the real threat, which is the people in that high level of power. And so they pit them against each other that way. And it's old as time.
Listen, it's old as time. And be honest, that's how the Europeans really did it. They divide and conquer.
Very much.
Everybody who met them, rigged them with open arms. What they do, enslave them.
Yeah.
Take it, because most of Europe don't have natural resources.
Right.
They have it. We're gonna take it. Just like I like just the Masonic thing. It's a black thing. Prince Hall, making us Prince Hall. They're saying, okay, you blacks are better than those blacks,
Right.
because we're giving you a little knowledge. So you should be better than them. But see, it's still divide and conquer.
Exactly.
See, but only thing can conquer, how can I put this? Only thing can conquer hate is love.
Right.
So only love can conquer. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's a simple game. And if you fall for it, fine. But yeah, it's divide and conquer. And that's exactly what he did. You can do it with anybody. And you see him, both of you guys are white.
Yeah.
One are rich. One is not rich. Probably trailer park, what they call redneck, whatever. But still, look here. You're better than him.
Yeah.
Work for me. And maybe you'll get up there.
Right. It's
You see what I
dangling
mean?
that carrot.
Yeah, but still hold them down.
Exactly.
Well, I get the most. See what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you don't work for yourself, what you doing? You work for somebody else doing their dream.
Right.
And that's all it is. Like I said in the end, everybody have a boss.
Yeah.
And Officer Kelly, Mark Williams, your boss.
Well, there's an interesting image in there where he's talking with Mark in the cemetery when Officer Kelly is, and his face is warped.
Yes.
And it's almost like we're seeing behind the mask of the decent person. We're seeing this
Thank
evil...
you for catching that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really creepy.
You caught it, yeah. Because out to everyone else, just like the father who owned a Chinese restaurant. He's a sweet Chinese dude, give you extra soy sauce and all that.
Right.
But be honest, he couldn't give a fuck about you. Same thing with Mark. He gives, if you can't pay enough for your funeral, we got you.
Yeah.
You know, your insurance don't cover, we got you. We got the kids stuff. It's the thing in the end, he don't give two fucks long as that coke keep going. And you see in the end, he was selling to both.
Yeah.
Bloods in the crib.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a perfect thing for him. He sells drugs to both of them. They kill each other. He still can bury them.
Yeah. Yep.
What did he lose?
Well, and I think that
It's 100% profit.
It is. And that's a funny line in there where Officer Kelly says, well, isn't this good for business if more people are killing each other? What are you so upset about with the Reverend? Because he's not seeing the big picture, because he's not a part of that. He's just seeing that he knows there's drugs being sold, but he just doesn't get the whole thing. So he doesn't realize how damaging that is, because he's like, hey, dead bodies, that's business. But that's only a small part of the business.
Exactly.
That's not the real money.
Exactly, because Mark won't tell him everything. Because remember, to Mark, he's a lower class white.
Right.
Just as long as you do my foot soldier shit, that's all I need you to do. But Mark, the big picture is you got to have somebody to control these blacks. That's why the NAACP, if you think about it, it wasn't started by black people. Two Jewish guys started that. Because they're going to give you your leader. Right. So Mark saying, long as I give them a reverend, they follow, I give them the leader, I control that. Yeah. And let everything keep going. But once he dies, now I got to go find somebody else. And that's what he was pissed off about. Now I got to find somebody else to do this. And it's going to be hard. Yeah. These young boys don't want to be preachers.
Right. Right. They want to be players.
Yeah, yeah. He want to do something. They want to be rap. They want to do Instagram and all. So he's stuck. Yeah. So that's what he's pissed off about. And that's why I showed the difference in his face. Normally he's nice and cool and relaxed. This time it's distorted. You see the monster in him.
Yeah. And that is a really great shot. I feel like that's a really neat piece of art in there.
Thank you. Thank you.
I also want to mention we this is the end of Loco Blue as well in this episode.
True. Yeah, I mean, in the end, because we already know at this point that Mr. Chin did this.
Yeah.
He set it up. So why keep those guys in it? Because it's a trilogy.
Yeah.
Those guys got to go. Because the next one ain't going to be about them.
Yeah.
And I want to put an end to that now so you don't think, okay, it's just a blood and crypt thing or it's something I heard before. No, it's not. It's much, much, much bigger than this.
So you're just cleaning house to show us the next layer of the onion here.
Of course. It's just peeling back the onion.
Well, I feel like, again, a lot was revealed, but I feel like there are as many questions as questions were answered. So I'm looking very forward to hearing what comes next, because the way this episode ended, Thomas confronting his grandfather and mother, and it seems like they're about to reveal the overarching plan here, what they're doing with Thomas in the room. So
I mean, the next one's the last chapter, so everything will come to fruition. You'll know what's going on and what happened. But yeah, I wanted to build up to this, but still, you're gonna be totally shocked. Again, yes. I gotta have twists and turns and get you ready for the next one, because like I said, it's a trilogy. Yeah,
so you gotta finish with this set of dominoes, but then set them up for the next.
Yes, sir.
The
More
next
with fall
game. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Awesome. Well, I'm looking very, very forward to this conclusion, at least a conclusion of our first chapter of this trilogy.
Yes, sir. So again, I want to thank everybody for supporting us, the Patreon supporters, and again, please follow us on Instagram. Please follow us on YouTube, and we're going to continue to give you more content. Thank you, guys. Get ready for the last chapter.